Hi, this is John Brock, and I'm back today with another video about site modeling using SketchUp. So this is the fourth part of a series. Started with the first one. We created the existing site model based off of the 2D drawing that we got that had the topography contour lines on it. Second video, we went on how we created this foundation using Profile Builder and native SketchUp tools. And the third video, we showed how to do the excavated model like you're seeing right now, where we've excavated around there. And of course, we got the volume that we could compare the volume with the volume of the existing site, so we can see how much cut and fill we have, or how much, where we're going to stockpile this dirt, how much dirt we have to deal with. Okay, so in this video, we're going to build the proposed site. All right, so what we're going to use, a few plugins that we're going to use. Profile Builder, we're only going to use it for a certain feature that selects a path that you don't need it. It's just a time saver. But Soapskin Bubble is a free plugin, and so is Tools on Surface. So Soapskin Bubble is how we're going to create the new meshes once we create our backfill against the house, and where we want to build the grade up for the garage and the whole front yard and that sort of thing. And that's going to help us to create the mesh. You can use the sandbox tools, but it's going to throw a lot of extra triangles in there and a lot of really odd geometry that you end up having to delete out to make it a solid, because it's super important that we make these a solid so it reports a volume. All right, and then Tools on Surface is another free plugin from Fredo that allows you to actually draw on the surface of the ground. So I use that to do mulch beds and things like that, where I want to cut the surface of this green that you're seeing of grass and make it, say, mulch. All right, but also maintaining it being one solid. Okay. All right, so we'll jump in. So I'm going to cut the side off just for a second, and I'm going to cut off the excavated site. All right, and so what you're going to see down below are these, the existing contours are dashed. That's what we use to create the site plan. So we use that by, these are those contours, okay? So from the first video, what I did is I ended up just tracing over top of these contours, and say this is the 816. I just traced over that and I moved it up 16 feet. I didn't do the whole 800 feet. I just put the site plan where it's at 0, essentially is equivalent to 800. All right, and did that for the existing contours, and that's what we used to make the existing site. So I'm going to cut those off for a second. And now what I'm going to do is just these new contours, all right? And I'm just going to draw lines to simulate this new, the new 818. Obviously flattening out a little section of the driveway, and I'm just going to kind of combine it back into there. And I'm triple clicking and then hitting the move command up in the blue, and I'm going to type in 18 feet. Okay, and that puts it up there. We'll continue around with the 16-foot contour, or the 816. And again, I don't have to do these curves in there. I'm just getting it approximated. Okay, and then that is moving up 16 feet in the blue. All right, then 14 is where it's starting to get interesting, where it's starting to go into the garage, because we have to build up this garage. So I'm just tracing over top of what I have available. And then it's going to have this bank where it's going to start cutting into a build-up at the garage. So I'm just going to get it to right here for now, and move that up 14 feet. And you can see how it's getting close to the garage. I'm just going to go ahead and draw a line. Well, it's already against the house, and that's fine. It's already against the garage. All right, so now we'll do the 12. Pretty much the same way we did before. Move that up 12 feet in the blue. And then I'm just going to continue that line until it hits the foundation wall, and I'm going to go up and connect it. So you can see that's the backfill line that we're going to be doing. All right, let's do the 10. And that's the last one that they're giving us, but that'll get us the front yard for now. All right, so I'm going to now what we want to do is we want to establish the backfill against the house, right? So if you saw from the original, the existing site, if I cut that on, oh, there we go, model existing. You see how the garage is on the low side of the property. I normally put garages to the high side of the property, but this design called for it on the left and the homeowner wanted it on the left. So if you put it on the right side, all the water's going to naturally run around the house. Now we're building up the left side and forcing it to go around the high side of the property. Not my favorite, but hey, that's what makes this a challenge, right? All right, so I'm literally going to draw the backfill line. I'm going to go up to this apron and just sort of hug the apron. A lot of fall to that sucker, but now when I get to here, this is getting to the foundation of the house. I can't be any more than 4 inches below the, yeah, that's right at 4 inches. So I'm 4 inches is my minimum for my backfilling. I can't be any higher than 4 inches up on that foundation. So I'm just going to keep it, just for now, for the sake of this model, I'm going to keep it level. We would normally start dropping off on this side of the house, but given that we're forcing that water around, it's going to be a little tighter. So I'm just keeping it level until we get around to this corner, and I'm going to call it at that for right now. Okay, now I'm going to just let me get this line here, this last little segment of this 806 line. Get it going until it hits the foundation. All right, I'm going to triple click, and that's going to select everything that's touching each other or connected. And let's get these other guys here and this guy here. So that's all of our proposed contours. So I'm going to change that to my layer that I have for site contours proposed. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the excavated site model, right? In the first episode, or the third episode, where we did the excavated site, you saw how we took a direct copy of the existing site, and then made it and put it on a layer for the excavated site. Okay, and then that way we have 2 copies of it. So we're only going to be destroying the geometry and the mesh on the top of this thing without getting into the sides. Again, it's all about comparing volumes for cut and fill. So I'm going to select that site, and I'm going to Control C for copy. I'm going to click off of it, and then Alt V is my paste in place command, and you can see now that there's 2 of them in here, but I'm going to change it from site model excavated to proposed. But then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to cut off the excavated site and cut on the proposed site. So now we have 2 copies of that. This is the one we're going to mess with to destruct to build our proposed site. All right, I'm going to select all of this. I'm going to select all on the selected layers. So that's going to select all of my proposed contour lines that I just created. And I'm going to Control X and cut those for now. But I'm going to edit this proposed site model, and I'm going to Alt V, which is my paste in place. And that puts these lines in the same group, okay? So I'm going to cut on hidden geometry, because that's super important for knowing what geometry we're going to delete out of here. Now, this excavated site, that was created so we had a moat around the house that gives us, the workers, a chance to get in and form the concrete foundation, right? So we're going to end up deleting that because our finished grade is backfilling that, so that the whole hole is getting filled in. All right, so I'm going to just start by getting rid of this excavated edge, because we're not going to need that, right? So I'm just kind of getting rid of the grade that we're going to change here. So I'm going to get rid of it down to about in here somewhere, where we were kind of joining over to this other line, to that new grade. All right, and you can see how it's going to intersect over into there. I'm going to go ahead and just take out a few more sections here, because we're going to rebuild this property here. Okay, and I'm kind of getting the perimeter. What I'm going to do is go around the perimeter of what I'm going to cut out, and then I can triple click on the face inside of that and delete it all at one time. All right, but I got to go ahead and get rid of this excavation wall deal that we had in there. See, so that's most important. I'm going to hide rest of the model. My Shift H for me is hiding rest of the model, and you can see that just makes it easier for me to get rid of stuff out of the way. Hide rest of the model. If you don't use it, use it. You will love it. It helps my workflow. I use it every single day. So there's times you want to just make things disappear. Okay. So I'm getting rid of this section in here. And probably when I get to this corner of the house, I'm going to just get out to this next little triangle there, and I'm going to go ahead and connect up from here to there, because that's about what the grade's going to do. You can see I got some slight fall to that, and that's good. We want fall away from the house. All right, so I'm going to continue with erasing these up. I'm just going to go ahead and delete these faces up into here. Okay. We're going to come up. See, these are so minimal of an impact, you really can't tell what they're doing right there. I'm going to probably end up getting rid of those. I'm going to triple click and get rid of these contours. I'm not going to change that because I like the way the site's pretty flat or pretty gradual for the driveway right in there, so I'm just going to leave it as is. All right, so I'm going to kind of go about up to that line that we had up in there and start making my way down into this area. Okay. Well, now I can just triple click on this and see it's only selecting that infill area, and I can get rid of it. So it's starting to take shape with that. I'm just going to come across and just make it a little bit more of a easier path instead of these little jagged areas there. I'm going to kind of do the same thing up in here. I'm just kind of cutting across. See, it picked up some of that odd line. All I'm doing is just cutting out so that those odd triangles. All right, I'm going to make it easier on myself with this little connection here. I just went right from the endpoint to that endpoint. Okay, now I've got, this is going to be sort of my new front yard that you're seeing in there, that the driveway is coming down. All right, here's where I'm going to use soapskin bubble. What I want to do is I need to select edges that close a loop that I can then change the contour to fit the contour in there. I could do the same thing and select those things and go to sandbox tools, and it would create that mesh, but it's going to add a lot of inside of these curves. I could show you, but it's a mess. You would get all this extra geometry that you would then have to edit and delete. If you've ever done this, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So soapskin bubble is just a cleaner, and it's less intense on the model size. Okay, so in Profile Builder, there's a really cool feature that's this edit path or select path, smart path select. I'm going to click on that, and you'll notice as soon as I hover over an edge, it's actually picking it, and it gives me the chance to kind of just hover over, and every now and then I'll hit select because it likes to get up into some crazy, it kind of finds things like you see it's coming way out here that I don't want to do. So I kind of just periodically click my left mouse button once I'm on this, same path that I want to be on. I will kind of keep it cruising around this thing, and again I'm just hovering over the path and clicking the left mouse button to select it. Now I'm going to hit enter, and you can see that that path is blue and it's ready for me. Alright, so now I'm going to save this file first because splats are not fun. Okay, so now that we've done that and this path is selected, I'm going to run soapskin bubble. So it's this first icon here is generate soap skin. I have no idea where soap came from. Somebody can explain that to me later, but I don't care. So I'm clicking on that, and then it's asking me for the divisions. If you look in the lower right corner in this box, I could change this grid size. To me, it's fine. I'm just going to hit enter, and you see how it just sort of morphed into fitting that shape. Okay, and it's in a group. Now, same thing with sandbox tools. If you created that mesh, it's going to put it in a group, and you want to explode that because you can't have a group inside of this group or you won't get a volume. But before I do that, I'm going to double click on this group. I'm going to hit enter first and accept that. Okay, and now I'm going to double click on it, and I'm going to paint it with this, select the whole thing here. I'm going to texture it with that green grass because for now I want it to all look the same. All right, and I'm going to, first of all, I need to soften it too. So you see all these little black squares. I don't want that in there. So I'm going to go up into my default tray and add soften edges in here, which I don't use it a lot. And then I'm going to soften that group. Oops, I'm doing the whole thing. Let me get into this one group here. And now that, see, that got rid of, view hidden geometry, now it's gone. I've got these outer edges and I'll clean that up in a little bit. But see how that nicely that fit in. Okay, so I'm going to go back to cutting on my hidden geometry and I'm going to right click and explode this. So now I've got that as part of that group, and if you look coming down the driveway, to me it still looks pretty smooth. So what we're going to do later is we're going to trace that driveway, we're going to move it up above and drape it down on the surface so we can cut in our asphalt. So stay tuned for that. All right, so now we're going to just kind of continue around doing the same thing. I'm going to use the path tool, and I'm just going to start making my way around this sort of difficult shape here. So let's see how that looks with the house for now. You can see I've got a odd fill going on here. Let's get a new grade up against this house. Let's go ahead and get this side yard done over here. I'm going to unhide rest the model, and I'm just going to kind of pick my backfill here. And I'm going to start just dropping it down naturally the way the grade's going down. I want to be above the grass here, a grade, a little bit, but then slightly start going downhill with some fall. So yeah, I'm just kind of fixing what it looks like with the existing grade. I want to be below this wall, obviously at that corner of the house. Oh, not that. I want to be a couple inches below that wall at least, and then from there I'm going to go down to say about there, and let's get back together with this section here. I'm going to cut on my hidden geometry, and we're going to go right to that point right there. So that's how we're going to sort of fix this grade here. I'm going to hide rest the model again. Let's get rid of this backfill section in here. We might just make it a little bit easier on ourselves. Okay. I'm going to get down to this area in here. Let's see if we can't make that a face. Not a face. All right. So we're going to be fixing this subgrade here in a little bit, so let's just ignore that for the time being. All right, let's pick that path, and we're going to go around it. enter. Let soap skin bubble do its thing. Okay, and then so from there, clean it up. Texture with grass. Okay, we're gonna later make that mulch, but for right now, that's what it's gonna be. Okay. All right. Unhide rest of the model. Let's take a break from that portion of it. I'm gonna unhide or do the hidden geometry. Let's take a look at, I'm gonna cut off the proposed site for a second. So go to our tags and cut off the proposed site. And we're gonna do this driveway, okay? And what I'm gonna do is create a face for it. And I'm gonna just start tracing around the perimeter that was shown. We're gonna probably have to fix where the garage aprons are, but this is what we're gonna go with for right now. So we're going into here, and we're kind of going around this little path to get to the front stoop. Irritating. I want to go right there. All right, so I'm going to make my way around. It's fighting me to try to lock into an axis, which is usually a good thing, but it's a pain in the ass sometimes. All right. Oh, that's probably up at the street. And it's got that circular section that we're going to cut out. A nice little mulch bed in there. Okay, so that should close it and make the face. So now what we're going to do is let's get a circle. Let's find the center of that circle, at least get close. You know what, that's close enough for me. All right, I'm gonna get rid of that face. There, now this is the driveway face, right? I'm gonna move it up, just up in the sky, and then I'm gonna cut our proposed site back on. Now, what I don't know is how it's gonna cut in front of these aprons, but that's fine. All right, so I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna edit this. I'm gonna hide rest of model, and I'm gonna hold down shift. Oops, one thing I noticed is I forgot to explode that. Found out the hard way. All right, I'm gonna delete these edges because I just don't wanna see them. So I'm gonna actually just hold down shift and the erase, click and erase on it. So just getting rid of these so I don't have to see them. Again, hoping some of you will show me how to do this easier. I just like it to look clean, but I have to report a volume, so I gotta be really careful of what I erase. All right, that's good enough for now. I'm going to select this face, and then I'm going to right click and go into the sandbox tools. Okay, and then I'm going to use the drape command, which is right here. So I'm going to simply select this face, and then I'm going to hit drape, and then I'm going to click on the group below it, and you see that that plopped it down there where I don't need this anymore. Sometimes I'll save this for reuse later, right? In fact, I'll group it and just hide it for right now. But you can see how it cut into this surface nicely, right? And I'm going to change this texture over into my asphalt, new asphalt texture, because that just looks, oops, that just looks a lot better, right? So technically we're getting up in here to the street. I'm going to cut my hidden geometry back on, and let's see if I can use that freestyle tool again from Fredo, drawing tools on surface, and I'm going to go up to there, and let's see if that cut that. Yeah, see, pretty cool. And I'm going to do this one. I'm just going to pop it from here to here, and then hit geometry back off and see if that doesn't fix it. So that put a little flare it out for the driveway, so that looks good. So if I click on this thing now, obviously it's not a solid. If I go to entity info, I've got big gaping holes in there, but that gives you an idea how to get driveways in. So if that's all you wanted to see, yeah, you can see how that worked out to where the front looks nice. But let's go ahead and finish this sucker up so we can get into our quantities for our fill. So this is going to be kind of a much longer video. All right, so back here in the back, our proposed grade, I'm just going to take it up to, we actually have a, yeah, I'm just going to take it up. We got a patio in here somewhere. So let's go to our exterior finishes, and we're going to cut that patio on. So that's where our grade's actually going to go up to. It's going to go up right to this. We're going to take it right to this patio. Okay. So I'm going to double click on our group, and I'm going to unhide rest of the model. And I'm going to just start drawing our new backfill line or grade line here. I'm going to go up to the top of this patio, and then I'm just going to trace the patio around. Okay. Get it somewhere. Let's work our way from this side here. So let's say we're taking it from here down to about, let's keep it a little bit level right there. And from here, I'm going to put it going up a little bit up onto the wall and then down to here. All right, so now that's given us the rest of our boundary there, right? And I want to keep my subgrade underneath there at this line that's sitting on. So that's actually above it. All right. I'm going to take these edges here. I'm just holding down Control and selecting these edges. I'm going to cut off that, because I want to cut that surface. You'll see in a second what I'm doing. Wrong key. I hate it when that happens. Control. This steps down right here, so I don't want to use this. I'm going to just stick with this. Hold down Control and select these edges. I could use the Smart Path tool here, but sometimes I'm just not that smart. Okay. And I'm going to move a copy of that down to the surface, because I want to cut that surface. So yeah, I'm going to be getting rid of this inside face here. And so let's see if that, that's looking about right where I want to be getting rid of this. Let me cut all my hidden geometry. I'm going to take it to right there for now. And I'm going to come over into here. And I know this is time consuming, and I'm sorry. But the end result's cool. All right, let's do the same thing here. Same thing there. just kind of in this for right now. I'm going to do something like this. I'm trying to get rid of this face right here. See that? Cut that nice and good. So I'm going to delete that because I'm backfilling up to this new line. Okay, that makes sense. Now around the house, in the other videos you saw how we did that moat all the way around it. I'm going to basically get rid of the rest of that subgrade by doing the similar as we did in the second video. Because I'm just going to kind of go around my backfill lines and get this down to this new part where we're backfilling it, right? Same. This is actually sort of a sidewall of the excavation. So just making a face there. Yeah, we want that to be just like we're doing here. So we're displacing that patio in the ground, so I'm just kind of connecting these little guys here. I think now we should be able to get rid of this outer part here. Now let's get this finished up and we'll be able to get rid of that. Okay, so we'll get this down to here, over to here, and that. And I think we should be able to now get rid of that. We got to figure this thing out, why this sidewall is not working. I mean, that should have made a face right there. So something is amiss right there. I think, let me unhide the rest of the model. Yeah, we're above the grade there. That should be 4 inches down below it. I think I need to displace those aprons. That's not what I want to do. This just looks crazy to you people, and it looks crazy to me too, but let's see if we can't close this. Holding down control, selecting these edges. Oh boy. Oh boy. Let's do our smart path. do the from contours and explode that. If I hide rest of model, you're going to see that. Not really. And let's see. Yeah, that's what we wanted to do. Let's go back into there. Yeah, we want that. Will this delete? Nope. Leave it alone, John. Well, actually, we should be below that. But it's okay. We'll be level with that right now just to make this thing close out. Now. So those aprons are kicking my butt right now. I apologize, but can't be helped. Let's go ahead and get this thing down to here. So that is obviously not correct. Why is that? I think that line that I did one of these contours in went a little out of the way. It's not exactly in line. I think that's what I did. I think I sort of screwed myself on that. Let's see what happens if I take this down and take this one's a tough one, man. It's kicking my butt. See, because that should be deletable. It is. Wow. Sorry, folks. You wanted to watch this stuff. This is grueling. I have a feeling that's going to come back and bite me in the butt. Something is not right about it. Something is definitely not right about it. And we're going to pay for this. I think there's going to be something sticking out from... Yeah, there's a little edge that's sticking out from there. So let's get this line here correct back into here. See, it's on that color there. It's just off. It's gonna be a pain. Ah, jeez. Nightmare. Nightmare. Yeah, let's leave it alone. All right. So, did that go away? Yeah. Yeah, this is going to come back and kick us in the teeth. I can assure you of that. Let's get our little smart path tool. Hit enter. We're going to use from contours. explode that. See if that left any other crap on this side over here. Nope, it's clean. All right, we're getting there. All right, so now let's cut that off of here, and let's get this part healed here. So we're gonna choose this path. Okay. Whew. And soapskin bubble, that's fine, do your thing, and that's fine. Let's reverse face and unhide rest of the model and sample our grass and paint it with the grass and explode it. All right, now let's cut off the hidden geometry, hide everything. Let's just kind of fly around and see if we've got any holes. This thing over here is where I'm going to get burned. I just know it. Control G gets rid of my guides. Don't see any holes right away, but there could be something lurking. Oh. All right, I'm going to click off of there and select it and see if it's showing a volume, and it does not. I'm going to come up here and save it. Then I'm going to go talk to Tom. Building inspector, solid inspector. Solid inspector 2. It's coming up saying there are 24 stray edges. Let's fix those. I think it'll fix that. 3 internal faces. Will it fix that? And then 6 reverse faces. It fixed that. Oh, and I'm getting a volume. Hallelujah. Okay. So now we can compare volumes against the initial. This is a backfilled one. Now, you may say, what about the footings? They displace the area in there, and I'll show you how that works in just a minute. But for right now, this is a good volume, and this has been a very long video. So, yeah. So this number here is, let's do this real quick and do the math. Put you guys on the spot watching me do math. Is 329,312. All right, and then I'm going to cut this off. And let's cut off the proposed site, cut on the existing site, and its volume is minus 342,481, rounding it off, is 13,000 cubic yards of cubic feet, excuse me. Divide that by 27, and that's 487 cubic yards of dirt extra. Divide that by, say, I don't know, 15 on a truck. That's about 30 some truckloads to haul out of there. So I'm going to start excavating this job here in a couple of weeks, and I will probably just go ahead and haul off at least 30 some truckloads of dirt, knowing that I'll use the rest. So very long exercise, took almost an hour to do this. It doesn't always take this long, ran into some little problems. So if you've stuck around this long, I'm sorry. But you get the idea and how you can create proposed sites. I'll cut it back on and see how they interact with the grade, and then as well you get the comparison to the cut and fill. So, wow, thanks for watching. You probably aren't anymore. Thank you.